Good evening. We welcome everyone to this, the regular meeting, the West Valley City Council. We note that we have a full quorum of the City Council present. All members are here participating electronically. We will begin with a special police department video. And so we'll turn that over to whoever has that prepared to start. There we go. Thank you.
From everyday police work to the most intense moments.
You're good, we got you.
Every West Valley City police officer encounter is captured by a body-worn camera.
Here at the West Valley City Police Department, we've had body-worn cameras in use for several years now, and long before it became a societal expectation. We believe that transparency is very important, and this is one of the avenues in which we can accomplish that.
West Valley City police officers are equipped with some of the latest technology in body cameras. The cameras capture high-quality, wide-angle images.
It captures everything potentially that the eye could see from the officer's perspective.
And to ensure the greatest level of accountability, the cameras come with multiple fail-safe protections.
It is considered evidence, and it is unchangeable by anybody in the department. It cannot be manipulated or changed, and if a video needs to be deleted, it takes a message to the chief in a formal correspondence that is recorded, and then it takes not only the chief's approval, but another administrator's approval as well. So there's a double safe procedure to prevent any sort of misconduct or inappropriate deletion.
Body cameras can be activated remotely by a supervisor and can automatically activate when lights and sirens are turned on or when a weapon or taser is taken from its holster.
When an officer activates their taser, not deploys their taser, but just pulls it out of the taser holster and turns it on, it automatically sends that same impulse to all Axon Body 3 cameras in the vicinity, again within a 25 to a 50-foot radius.
A buffer system adds an extra layer of accountability.
When an officer activates a camera or the camera receives an impulse to activate based on whether or not they turn their lights on, their taser on, or pull their firearm out of their holster, the camera will go back and record the previous 30 seconds of footage. Our policy states that the #1 purpose of the body-worn camera system is transparency. It's on our website, and anybody can open it and read it at any time.
Mindy Holmgren lives in West Valley City.
We have lived in West Valley for 5 years this summer.
She says knowing that the officers in her city have taken steps to ensure transparency is reassuring.
I think transparency is a really, really great way to earn the trust of our community and city residents. I think that being honest and open with that communication really helps to improve the relationships, and that we know that we can trust what our police do and what they say.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Next, we have the approval. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. We don't have any other opening ceremony scheduled. Okay. Approval of the minutes of July 21st, the motion from the council.
I would move for approval of the July 21st minutes.
Second.
Okay, properly for us. Any comments? Hearing none, then without objection, the minutes will be approved. Hearing no objection, it is unanimous approving the minutes. Next, we have our public comment period. This is not the same as the two public hearings that we will hear later in our meeting on the Housing and Urban Development Plan and our participation plan for federal grant programs. These are just general public comments, not related to our agenda. And so to our city recorder, Nicole Kamek, who monitors that, do we have some for general comments?
We do have one person that looks like they're logged in, which is Jim Besock. Jim, you can go ahead and speak.
Let's see, thank you. Good seeing you all again tonight. I was glad to see finally on the West Valley Families Fitness Center is going to have a movie night. I think that's a great thing. We have these beautiful parks in West Valley, and there's plenty of room to do the social distancing. And on August 15th, they're going to do a movie night. Taylorsville has done several of these. And also West Jordan is doing the food truck things. And I was wondering if there's any plans of getting that done again at Fairborn Station. It would be nice to have more stuff for our public to go out. I know, understanding all the social distancing, but it can be done. It works in West Jordan very, very well. People are very, very good about it. Question on the street sweepers. Are they still out there? Last year and in the past, it seems like they came through my neighborhood no more or no less than every other week. I haven't seen a street sweeper in a long time. I'm wondering if maybe they're being deployed somewhere else. That's a question. Then the other thing, code enforcement. Finally got a hold, or they got back to me on code enforcement. Hold on a second, my phone is meowing in the background there. So, and come to find out, on the code enforcement phone numbers on the area map that's on the website for Beat 9 has a wrong phone number. And so I've got all the current numbers and stuff like that. So they did reach out to me. All the cases that I put through the app though are still open. No response, but I was assured that they are being looked into. Hopefully you guys are continuing to be healthy, stay safe, stay strong, and I will talk to you guys next week.
Thank you. That's all for the regular public comment, Nicole.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then with that, we see if our city manager has any comments.
No comments tonight, sir. Thank you.
Anyone from the city council?
Just want to make a note.
Oh, go ahead.
We don't have meeting next week. Our next meeting will be on August 11th.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Next, we have public hearings. We'll begin with public hearing on our housing and urban development plan for, we have a 5-year plan and then our annual action plan for 2020-2021. And we will consider resolution 20-110 in connection with this. These are funds that come through the community development CDBG block plan. And we have identified areas where those can be allocated. We have been usually fairly consistent, although this year there was an option to provide an increase in funds to some community organizations, or excuse me, overall increase so that more organizations might receive those funds. So with that introduction, we will now accept, well, let's see, anyone on the council want to add anything to that? If not, then we will open the public input portion. And do we have some people lined up for that?
Yes, sir. The first person is Peggy Daniel. Peggy, you should be able to speak now.
Thank you very much. I just wanted a couple of comments here. As our government has implored residents to stay home and protect themselves from COVID-19, but for domestic violence victims, which the mass majority of those are children and women, home can be a very dangerous place. Domestic violence was a global pandemic before COVID-19, but since the outbreak, experts have characterized this as COVID-19 and the domestic violence as a ticking bomb or a perfect storm. There has been prediction that the quarantine will increase domestic violence by 20%. The rates of domestic violence in Salt Lake County since the pandemic has been increased, and domestic violence victims are at greater risk due to the increased household isolation and decreased social networks to provide support to the victims. 1 in 3 women in Utah will experience domestic abuse during their lifetime and is often less homeless despite their ability to escape threatening situations. West Valley City Police Department reported a 28% increase in domestic violence calls in March of 2020 compared to last year. Through our partnership with West Valley City Police Department during July 2019 to June 2020, we received 532 calls from officers that had victims that were at high risk of homicide. And we know that some of these calls are some of the most dangerous calls that your law enforcement officers will respond to. We appreciate West Valley City making victims of domestic violence a priority. Thank you for funding us, and not just us, but also so many of our partner agencies. We could not provide the level of service that we do without the great community partners that we have. I just want to end by reading a statement from one of our survivors. Anna's boyfriend had a history of drug abuse and would steal her property, plus break doors and windows, causing her to lose her housing. Her and her 2 children were homeless. She lived in constant fear that her boyfriend would find her. Anna and her children stayed at our crisis shelter for 117 days. Anna felt that her domestic violence had ruined her life and she would never be able to recover. Through the services that South Valley Services provided, Anna and her children received therapy to deal with their trauma they had experienced. Anna was able to find a job but couldn't afford housing for her on her own. South Valley Service was able to provide rent prorated and help her with her first month's rent. This money that you're providing to us will continue to help us to provide these services to the victims in West Valley City. And we thank you so much for your partnership.
The next person that we have to speak is Kat Khan. Kat, you should be good to go.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kat Kahn. I'm the Director of Development for the Road Home. And so first off, I just want to say thank you to West Valley City. You guys have been an incredible partner and you've been supporting us for so many years. We greatly appreciate it. I know that last time I would have spoken to you all would have been before all of the changes of this winter. So just really quickly, I wanted to highlight those. We moved from the Rio Grande shelter and we are now in South Salt Lake at the 300-bed men's shelter, as well as the 300-bed family shelter in Midvale. And we also operated the community winter shelter in Sugar House last winter, the Overflow, as well as Overflow for men at St. Vincent de Paul. And so this last year, we served around 9,000 people in our shelter, and about 210 identified as being from West Valley. And we also housed 49 clients in West Valley City, which is, that is the end goal for us, to get people into housing and back into the community. We worked with 18 landlords in West Valley City last year, and we provided about $300,000 in direct financial assistance to West Valley City. And so we don't know what the future holds for people seeking our services. We have, you probably saw in the news that COVID hit us hard and hit us early. And we, luckily, all of the shelters have been COVID free for almost a month. But we don't know how things are going to look in the next few months. And so we just greatly appreciate your support, and you have been incredible to us over the years. So thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like the next person that we have is Joanna Libby. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, Joanna, you should be able to speak now.
Hi, I just wanted to, first of all, appreciate your funding for our leadership and training program that we proposed for this year, and the partnership and funding that you've given to us in the past has been great support for us. So thank you. We appreciate that. So for Redwood Elementary, it's an elementary where students have poor academic achievement and there's a lot of absenteeism going on at the school. And we're proposing to do a leadership and training program, which is new for we implement it at all of our sites, but we want to implement it into Redwood. And this would be for 13 students to sign up for, to do a leadership and training program that will empower them to be effective leaders and also empower them to mentor their peers in the school as well. So it won't be just for the 13th students, it'll be for the other students that are taking part of our after school program that also attend Redwood Elementary. And your support in the past for Redwood Elementary has been greatly appreciated. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
The next person we have to speak is Beth Earhart. Beth, you should be able to speak now.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I am Beth Earhart, president of the Senior Charity Care Foundation. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for our elders in need. I would like to begin by thanking the CDBG committee members and Heather Royal for their tireless efforts to ensure that the residents of West Valley City receive the support and services they deserve. We are grateful for the recommendation of funding our services at the full request of $10,000. This will allow Senior Charity Care Foundation to serve and improve the vision, oral health, and hearing for up to 116 low-income seniors residing in West Valley City, senior apartments or assisted living facilities. We, like others, have had some challenges with COVID-19 because the facilities have locked down all access to mobile services like ours for their residents. We are, however, preparing to use our offices temporarily in West Valley City to serve our seniors. We have purchased special equipment to ensure the safety of our staff and seniors we serve, whether in our office or the facilities, and developed a 3-part process to evaluate their health before, during, and after our services following CDC and American Dental Association guidelines. Additionally, our hearing aid vendor, the Starkey Foundation, has closed during the pandemic, and they are determining when and if they will resume services. We are in the midst of evaluating other affordable hearing aid options. One thing that is important to know is that the funds provided by the CDBG are matched by more than 3 times to ensure that the residents receive the best care possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person we have to speak is Valerie Fritz. Valerie, you should be able to speak now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Mayor and Councilman, thank you so much for your support for the InBetween. I'm Valerie Fritz. I'm the grant development person at the InBetween. And I don't know if you know about our program. We serve terminally ill and medically frail homeless men and women from throughout the county. Last year, we served 19 clients from West Valley City. 2 of them were able to pass away at the InBetween, not on the streets alone by themselves. And that's our ultimate goal, is to stop people dying on our streets when we have a very unique program that can take in the most medically frail and help them through either end of life or as they're healing from wound care, surgeries, illness, and whatever. Normally we have 38 to 40 beds available daily. However, the coronavirus caused us all to kind of cut back on our intakes since March. We're just beginning again to take in, our focus is really on end of life clients who need a place to live through the end of their life. And your funds are hugely critical to us. You've been a great support over the last few years, and we really enjoy working with Heather Royal and her team. They've been wonderful to work with. Thank you so much.
The next person that we have is Brandy Jolly. Brandy, you can go ahead and speak now.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to thank Mayor Bigelow and the rest of the council for their recommendation for funding. I am with Big Brothers Big Sisters of, and we have also been affected, as everyone has, by this pandemic. And although mentoring looks a little bit differently, mentoring looks a little bit different these last few months. We are continuing to mentor our kids and have great results. So just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you so much for the hard work you're doing and for supporting our organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, the final comment is from Fatima Ahmed with Utah Community Action. She's unable to attend the meeting, but asked that I read her comment on the record. She states that Utah Community Action deeply values our longstanding partnership with the City of West Valley. As a result of CDBG funds, UCA's Redwood Food and Resource Center, as well as the Case Management Program, have been able to meet the needs of the greater West Valley City community by providing food and rental assistance to stabilize low-income families with holistic case management and help them move towards self-reliance. During the wake of the COVID-19 outbreak, CDBG funding enables UCA to operate services for the increasing individuals and families in the city experiencing emergency crisis. UCA is grateful to receive West Valley City's support in working to collectively combat food insecurity and housing instability for households in need distinctly at this time. And I believe that is all of our public comment.
Thank you. If that concludes all the public comment, we will then close the public comment portion and come back to the council for consideration of Resolution 20-110.
Move for approval of Resolution 20-110.
Second.
Okay, any further comments? Hearing
I have
none.
a comment.
Yes.
And I just want to
Councilman
say,
Northville.
all those people who came to tell us thank you. We do so little compared to what they are doing. And I just want to acknowledge that in behalf of the residents from our city that they are serving, thank you so much. You do so much more than we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Then to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilmember Fitzie Manu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we go to the West Valley Citizen Participation Plan for federal grant programs. This is an amendment to accommodate COVID-19 related flexibilities and procedures. And this will be tied to Resolution 20-111. We have to have plans in place for federal reasons to be able to be eligible for certain funds and to meet requirements there. And so this has been updated to include details of a pandemic, which in this case was the COVID-19, to meet all of those requirements. There have been public comment requirements, and we will have a public hearing on this here tonight as well. This will just bring us up to date on this issue. Now, anyone else need to add anything there? I've been kind of general because there's a huge amount of detail behind that, but any council member or Mr. Pyle need to add anything?
Nothing for me, sir.
Not hearing anything from council members, then we will open the public comment portion of this issue. Is there anyone online to speak to this?
No, sir.
Okay, having no public comment, we will close the public comment portion and bring it back to the council for consideration of Resolution 20-111.
Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 20-111.
Second.
Before us, okay. Any further comments? Hearing none, we'll turn to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Fitzie Manu,
Aye.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Next, we go to Resolution 20-112. This is where we're amending and restating an agreement with Utah Municipal Risk Management Association. We work with them on some of our insurance and risk related needs. They modified the name, and so that is one of the major changes. There were some references to statutes that needed to be changed since we originally did this, clarification of language regarding our immunity, governmental immunity, and non-waiver of claims or defenses, and then formatting changes. So that's what's happening here. This is a situation the city has been involved with them for an extended period of time, and this will just update that agreement. With that, any further comments from the council before we open public comment? Excuse me, no public comment on this one. Not hearing any comments from the council, then we will turn to the city recorder for the vote.
We still need a motion, Mayor.
Motion.
Move to
Oh,
approve
yeah.
resolution 20-112.
Second.
You mean I don't go to, from public comment to the vote? Okay. Oh, you'll be lucky if I make it through this agenda tonight at all. Okay, now it's properly before us. So now I think that we can have our city recorder take the vote.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Next, we go to our consent agenda. We have a number of items on there. And most of these are right-of-way agreements, warranty deed, temporary construction easement related to our asphalt overlay project, where we are updating curb and gutter sidewalk for ADA purposes. That's a requirement. And so most of these, resolution 20-13 through, I believe it's 20-121, are all related to that. Wasn't the last one on 2700 West? Yes. So 20-122 is the same thing, but on 2700 West. And these being fairly routine items, rather than identify each address, I'll just, if anyone wants to look at those, they can see the specific location. I'll just take that as the introduction to the council.
Move to
Mayor, I move
approve
for
the,
approval. Go ahead, Don.
go ahead. Go ahead.
After you. I'll second.
Okay. Move to approve the 10 items on the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. Hearing no further comments, to our city recorder.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. That completes our agenda for our regular city council meeting, unless there are any final comments from the council members. And as Councilwoman Lang mentioned earlier, our regular city council meeting will reconvene on August 11th, 2 weeks from today. Then with that, motion to adjourn. Hearing without objection, we will adjourn. And having heard no objections, it is unanimous. Regular city council meetings adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And I
everyone.
believe next week we also have our RDA meeting. So,
August 11th.
excuse me, 2 weeks, yes. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.